नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, the prayers offered to the Lord by the residents of Jambudvipa. Text 1. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, Bhadras Sarva, the son of Dharmaraja, ruled the tract of land known as Bhadrasva Varsha, just as Lord Shiva worshipped Sankarshana in Havarta Varsha. Bhadrasva, accompanied by his intimated servants and all the residents of the land, worshipped the plenary expansion of Vasudeva known as Hayashriya. Lord Hayashriyasa is very dear to the devotees and he is the director of all religious principles fixed in the topmost trance. Bhadrasarva and his associate offer their respectable obeisances to the Lord and chant the following prayers with careful pronunciation. The ruler, Bhadrasarva and his intimated associates utter the following prayers. We offer our respectable obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the receiver of all the religious principle, who cleanses the heart of the conditioned soul in this material world. Again and again we offered our respectable obeisances unto him. Text 3. Alas, how wonderful it is that the foolish materialistic does not heed the great danger of the impending death. He knows that the death will surely come, yet he is the nevertheless callous and the neglectful. If his father dies, he want to enjoy his father's property, and if his son dies, he want to enjoy his son's positions as well. In either case, he heedlessly tries to enjoy the material happiness with the acquired money. Text 4. O unborn one, learned Vedic scholars who are advanced in the spiritual knowledge certainly know that this material world is perishable, and do other logicians and the philosopher in trance they realize the factual position of this world and they preach the truth as well. Yet even they are sometimes bewildered by your illusionary energy. This is your own wonderful pastime. Therefore, I can understand that your illusionary energy is very wonderful, and I offer my respectable obeisances unto you. Text 5. O Lord, although you are completely detached from the creation, maintenance, and the inhalation of this material world, and are not directly affected by these activities, they are all the attributed to you. We do not wonder at this, for your inconvincible energies perfectly qualify you to be the cause of all the causes. You are the active principle in everything, although you are separated from everything. Thus, we can realize that everything is happening because of your inconvincible energy. Text 6. At the end of the millennium, ignorance personified assumed the form of a demon, stole all the Vedas and took them down to the planet of Rasatala. The Supreme Lord, however, in this form of Hayagriva, retrieved the Vedas and returned them to the Lord Brahma. When he begged for them, I offered my respectable obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, whose determination never falls. Text 7. Sukadev Goswami continued, My dear King, Lord Narasimhadeva resides in the tract of land known as Harivarsha in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. I shall describe to you how Prahlad Maharaj caused the Lord to assume to the form of Narasimhadeva. Prahlad Maharaj, the topmost devotee of the Lord, is the receiver of all the good qualities of great personality. His character and the activities have bewildered all the fallen members of his demonic family. Lord Narasimhadev is very dear to this exalted personality. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj, along with his servants and all the denizens of Hari Varsha worship Lord Nrsimhadev by chanting the following mantra. Text 8. I offered my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsimhadev, the source of all powers, O my Lord, who possess nails and the teeth just like the thunderbolt. Kindly vanquish our demon like desire for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existing in this material world. Text 9. May there be a good fortune throughout the universe, and may all the envious persons be pacified. May all the living entities become calm by practicing Bhakti Yoga. For by accepting the devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in the thoughts of Him. Text 10. My dear Lord, we pray that we may never feel attraction for the prison of the family life consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance, relatives, and so on. If we do have some attachments, let it be for devotees who only uh, whose only dear friend is Krishna, a person who is actually self-realized and who has controlled his mind is perfectly satisfied with the very necessities of life. He does not try to gratify his senses. Such a person quickly advanced in Krishna consciousness, whereas others who are too attached to the material things find the advancements very difficulties. Text 11. By associating with persons for whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukunda, is all in all, one can hear of his powerful activities and soon come to understand them. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing of them, one immediately associate with the Lord. For a person who constantly and very eagerly hears the narration of Lord powerful activities, the absolute truth, the personalities of Godhead in the form of sound vibration enters within his heart and cleanses it of all contamination. On the other hand, although the bathing in the Ganges diminishes bodily contamination and infection, this process and the process of the visiting and the process of visiting the holy places can cleanses the heart only after the long time. Therefore, who is the sane man who will not associate with the devotees to quickly who will not associate with devotees to quickly perfect his life. Text 12. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as the religious knowledge and the renunciation, becomes manifest in the body of one who has developed an alloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of the devotional service and engaged in the material activities has no good qualities, even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives. He must be driven by his own mental speculation and must engage in the service of the Lord's eternal energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? Text 13. um, just as aquatic always desired to remain in the vast mass of water, all the conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existing of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculation fails to take the shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to the material household life, his greatness is like that of a young love class couple. One who is too attached to the material life loses all good spiritual qualities. Text 14. Therefore, O demon, give up the so called happiness of family life and simply take the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nasimadev, which are the actual shelters of the fearlessness. Entanglement in family life is the root cause of the material attachments, indefectible desire Morosenses, anger, despair, fear, and the desire for false prestige, all of which result in the repetition of birth and death. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Krishna Prabhu, when are you ready? You can start, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Radharani Mataji, for reading today's Bhagavatam section translation. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, chapter 18, the prayers offered to the Lord by the residents of Jambudvipa. So we'll start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminti Namni. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachatta Deshatarani. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you all for joining for today's Bhagavatam session. So it was very nice to go through that Pavaneshwar Prabhuji's Bhagavata cosmology from last couple of weeks. And it's also very important to at least get some idea about this Bhagavad cosmology, because it helps to understand or get some idea, and we can able to see the Krishna's opulence, greatness. So that when we go to 10th Canto, and when we hear about Krishna's childhood pastimes or his pastimes with his boyfriends or girlfriends, then we don't misunderstand Krishna, or we don't consider Krishna as an ordinary child or any other human being like us, like that. So that's why it is very helpful. And this chapter is also very instructive and very important for us, because it stresses a sadhaka to recite some prayers regularly to the Supreme Lord. So like how the pure devotees of the various varshas are offering different prayers. So similarly, we also try as best as we can. So memorize some prayers, like so we have several prayers, right? Kunti prayers, Gajendra Moksha, Brahma Samhita. So many prayers like the Amudrastakam. So if we can try to recite them regularly, it will not only help us to purify us, but also helps in the future life, if at all we are not successful to go back to Godhead in this life. Like I was listening this Gajendra prayers, so it is mentioned that when Gajendra was in trouble, stuck by the crocodile, then after 1,000 years, when it fought, tries to get rid of from the crocodile by itself and taking help of family members, relatives, friends. For 1,000 years, it went through the trouble. And then Krishna reminded him, or gave the intelligence, or gave the memory of the prayers that he did in the previous life. Because in the previous life, he is a great devotee called Indradyumna Maharaj. So he used to pray, offer various prayers to the Supreme Lord. So Krishna gave that memory to him, so that Gajendra started offering the prayers. So when we do these prayers in this lifetime, and if we are successful and go back to Godhead, then that's wonderful. If not, these prayers will, Krishna will remind us when we are in trouble in the future life. So in this chapter, just to give a quick overview, so we have here, I think maybe let me share this wonderful picture. So it's just quick overview. So this Jambudvipa is divided into 9 varshas, and we have a Ilavrata Varsha where Lord Shiva is offering prayers to the Sankarsana, like that, and then Swa in offering prayers to High Shersha, like that, and Prahlad Maharaj in Harivarsha offering prayers to Lord Narasimhadev. So like that, so various pure devotees offering prayers to the different incarnation of the Supreme Lord in these 9 varshas. So we'll quickly go back to that prayers. Okay, so today we'll see some of the prayers, and then this will continue the theme. So in the first sloka, we see that Sukadeva Goswami started narrating. So the Bhadrasva Varsha, so he's talking about Bhadrasva Varsha. So where the son of Dharmaraj, known as Bhadrashrava, so he is ruling that this land, and how Lord Shiva, so in the last chapter it is mentioned how Lord Shiva worships Sankarshna in Ilavrita Varsha, offering various prayers. So similarly, Bhadrashrava, with various of his servants and residents in the land, so they worship offering prayers to the expansion of Lord Vasudeva, known as Hayasirsha. So, and then it is also mentioned here that, in this land, the Bhadrasva, along with the other devotees, so they offer prayers to Hayasirsha with so much careful pronunciation. So that's also one another important thing for us, like, when it reminds us, at least for myself. So when we chant our Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it is also very important for us to be attentive while we are doing chanting. So, so instead of mechanical of way of chanting, if we can focus and be attentive while we are chanting, then it will help us and it will quickly purify us. So in the second sloka, you see that the Bhadrashrava, the ruler, so he's started offering prayers, saying that so the Supreme Lord is the reservoir of all religious principles, and he cleanses the heart of the conditioned soul. So whoever approaches Krishna, so and with various offers and chanting of this Hare Krishna mantra, it will purify their heart. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that many of the people in this material world, they don't know that they are impure at all. So that's why they don't take up the Krishna conscious process for purification. And Prabhupada quotes in the Bhagavad Gita sloka, they are mentioned as mudhas, rascals. So namam dushkrutano mudha prapadyante naradama. So these 4 types of category people, so they don't approach Krishna because they don't know that they are impure, and they are mentioned as one of the categories rascals. So but the aim of the human life is to purify. So for that we have to approach Krishna, so that we can be purified and go back home, back to Godhead, and we escape this miserable life in this material world, like going through the repeated birth and death, janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosha darshana, like that. So that's why Lord Rishabhadev stresses to purify. Tapo divyam putragayena sattvam suddhyadyasmat brahma saukyam tvanantam. So if we purify ourselves through this process of Krishna consciousness, so for this Kali Yuga, Prabhupada gave this wonderful Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully gave this. If we can do this, then it purifies our heart, and then we will attain eternal and blissful life. So which is what everyone is looking for. So not for sense gratification, because this sense gratification is available in the lower species also. So that's what Lord Rishpadev says. Nayam deho deha bijam bhajam nirloke kastan kaman arhate with bhujam a. Like he says that, this human form of life, which is very rare and important, and on top of that, whoever got the association of the devotees, that's more important. So they should not work very hard day and night simply for sense gratification, because that is available even for dogs and hogs which eat stool. For this strong statement, but it stresses the importance and the urgency of the taking up the Krishna consciousness. Because I'm talking to myself. And then in the third sloka, so it's mentioned that the foolish materialist, they don't heed the great danger impending the death. because he knows that the death will surely come, but still, so they are neglectful. It says that, if father dies, the son enjoys the property of father. If the son dies, the father enjoys the son's property. So in either case, he heedlessly tries to enjoy material happiness with the acquired money. And Prabhupada mentions that so materialistic people, they think that so ahar nidra bhayamaitunam, like eating, sleeping, mating, defending, so would give happiness to them. So that's why most of the people are busy in improving these things: how to eat nicely, how to sleep nicely, how to mate nicely, how to defend ourselves, like that. But they don't think about the great danger of impending death, so which is going to come soon. So this is one of the Aksha's questions to Dharmaraj, Yudhishthira Maharaj. Says that, what is the most wonderful thing in this world? Then Maharaj Yudhishthira says that ahani ahani bhutani gacchanta yamalayam seshastavaram ichanti kim acharyam ataparam. Like he says that, hundreds and thousands of people are dying at every moment, but the others thinks that they don't die, or they are deathless. Like that they think, and they don't prepare for death because they don't think like that. So this is very surprising and most wonderful thing in this material world, like that. So people don't understand that, the death is going to come sure. So, and they don't prepare for that. Instead, Prabhupada says that, people enjoy, the father dies, they enjoy the property of the father. Of course, as Kali Yuga progress, so when father is there itself, the son sometimes tries to grab the father's property to enjoy. So, but generally, father dies, the son enjoys. In some cases, the son leaves the body, and then father tries to enjoy the son's property. And in very rare cases or few cases, the father may have some illegal relationship with the wife of the dead son, like that. So those kind of sinful activities should be avoided, or materialist activities. So that's what here the prayers showing that, the great surprise. And in the fourth sloka, see that sometimes the Vedic scholars who are very advanced in spiritual knowledge, so they know that, this material world is perishable, but still, at even they are sometimes bewildered by illusory energy. So this is your wonderful pastime. So therefore, I can understand that your illusion energy is very wonderful, and is offering the prayers like that. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that so sometimes even one is in a liberated state also, they are attacked by Maya. So if they are inattentive in their sadhana. So that's why Prabhupada stresses to be attentive in performing our sadhana. Because very little attention will create a great havoc. So Prabhupada gives the example of Bharata Maharaj, so who is attached to the deer, inattentive in his practice, and became attached to the deer, and due to that he has to go through 2 more lives. So that's why it's very important for us to be attentive. Of course, I'm talking to myself because that's one thing that I have to improve myself. And in the 5th sloka, see, the prayers are continued saying that Supreme Lord is detached from the creation, maintenance, and inheritance, not directly affected by these activities, and he has inconceivable energy, perfectly qualified to be the cause of all causes, and is the active principle in everything, but still he is separate from everything. And of course, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that Krishna is the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karana. And through his inconceivable energies, unlimited energies, so he performs creation, maintenance, annihilations, all the things, but still he is detached. So it's mentioned that Parasya Shakti Vividaiva Shuyate Swabhavika Jnana Balakriyacha. Like Krishna has unlimited energies, and they are Swabhavika. So by nature, they are very natural. Like as soon as Krishna desires something, and his energies will automatically work because they are swabhavika, very natural. So they are aligned and they are embedded with the gnana balakriya. Like they have intelligence to do the task and they have strength and they are willing to perform the activities. So unlimited energies. So with that he will do it. And he is active principle in everything. So that's why he is there in the everywhere, like Andantarastha Paramanu Chanantarastham. So is there in every atom and also between two atoms. So if sugar is giving sweetness means because Krishna is there and is producing the sweetness. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the taste of the water. So if we are experiencing the taste of the water means because Krishna is there. Of course, Krishna gives his opulences in Bhagavad Gita, so which is just a glimpse of it. So at the same time, he is not in them, which means that he is not affected by them. So even though he does creation, maintenance, annihilance, so everything, but he is not affected by them. And in the 6th sloka, you see that at the end of the millennium, so ignorance person assumed the form of a demon. And then he steals the Vedas and takes the planet to the Rasatala. Then Krishna comes in the Haigriva form and he retrieves those Vedas and give it to Brahma. And Prabhupada mentions that in the purport, of course, the Vedic knowledge is imperishable. But in this material world, when the people are too absorbed in the ignorance, so then the Vedic knowledge disappears. So at that time, Krishna, so sometimes he comes as Haigriva or Matsyavatara, and then he brings back that Vedic knowledge and distributes to Lord Brahma or give it to Lord Brahma. And through him, this Vedic knowledge will be distributed all over the world. And in the 7th sloka, so now we are coming into the Harivarsha, where Prahlad Maharaj offering prayers to Lord Narasimhadev. Of course, so the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Narasimhadev is elaborately described in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. But here it's mentioned that Prahlad Maharaj is the topmost devotee of the Lord, reservoir of all good qualities. So his character and activities have delivered all the fallen members of the demonic life family. So and they all worship Prahlad Maharaj along with all his servants. They worship Lord Narasimhadev. Of course, we go through the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Narasimhadev in the 7th canto. So in the 8th sloka, we see that Prahlad Maharaj is offering to praise to Lord Narasimhadev, the source of all power, and he possesses nails, teeth just like thunderbolts, and is requesting vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activities in this material world, and drive away our ignorance so that one can become fearless. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that how Lord Narasimhadev killed Hiranyakashipu, who is the personification of the material desires. Like because Hiranya means gold, Kashipu means soft cushion or bed. So those are the symbols or material indication of the material desires for the body comforts. And Hiranyakashipu killed him. So similarly, Prahlad Maharaj is praying to vanquish or kill the demon-like desires for fruitive activities. So this is what the devotee should pray like. So one time, one person was praying Lord Narasimhadev to kill his enemies, thinking that he has some rivals. So hoping that praying Lord Narasimhadev will kill those his rival people. But the sharp arrows from Lord Narasimhadev altar is coming to him. So he was wondering why they are coming to me. Then he asked Lord Narasimhadev, why the sharp arrows coming to me? He said that the real enemies are the desires for sense gratifications. So I'm sending these sharp arrows to kill them. So those are the real enemies, not some people who are causing trouble like that. So when we take shelter of Krishna, then he will help us to remove our material desires. So then in the 9th sloka, we see that Prahlad Maharaj is praying good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified, and everyone become calm by practicing Bhakti Yoga, and also think of each other's welfare. And Krishna, Prabhupada mentions that this is the Vaishnava qualities. So Vaishnava is very compassionate. Prahlad Maharaj here is not praying for himself. He's praying for all the living entities, including the envious people. So we see that, when Lord Narasimha appeared and told Prahlada to ask for a boon, so he requested Supreme Lord to excuse his demonic father, even though his father troubled him so much. That is the compassion of a devotee. And also when somebody takes up this Bhakti Yoga, then one will become peaceful and calm. Shanti vrichyati. So, and when one advances in the process of Krishna consciousness, so they will get this quality of thinking about others' welfare, because a devotee is a paradukki dukki. So when he sees someone is suffering, then he feels unhappy. So that's why they look for others' welfare. So these are the wonderful and exalted qualities of the devotee. And then in 10th sloka, we see that Prahlada is praying that so he will never feel attraction for the prison of a family life or friends, bank balance like that. And if at all there should be some attachment, let it be for devotees. And he's praying that a self-realized who has controlled his mind, perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life, and it doesn't gratify his senses. So in that way, they will quickly advance in Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada mentions the purport that so as a devotee progress in the path of bhakti, they are not attached to their wealth or family, friends, relatives like that. Instead, they engage them in the process of Krishna consciousness. So in that way, the family members or wife, children, or friends, relatives, they all also get benefited. And as they progress, they are satisfied with the bare necessities. So that's why it is said simple living and high thinking. But of course, as Kali Yuga progress, the materialistic people, they are simply living and no thinking. So that's why they are not taking the process of Krishna consciousness. Also, a devotee wants to be in the association of the other devotees. So Mahaprabhu says that the first business of the Vaishnava is to be away from the non-devotees. Asat Sangha Tyage Yai Vaishnavachara. So, but instead, they be in the association of the devotees. In that way, they get inspired and they progress in the path of bhakti. So, in the 11th sloka, so it shows the importance of the association of the devotees, like by associating with the persons for whom Krishna, Mukunda is all in all. So, and his powerful activities. One can hear his powerful activities and soon come to understanding. So like that, so one who constantly and eagerly hears the narrations of the Supreme Lord, so they will enter within his heart and cleanses all the contamination. So it shows that importance of association with the devotees and the chanting of the Hare Krishna. It is higher than the bathing in the Ganges or visiting the holy places. So that's why it is here, Prahlad Maharaj says that who is the sane man who will not associate with the devotees to quickly perfect his life? Because when we associate with the devotees, so not only the one would be purified, but the desire for the sense gratification also will be removed. But when we take the bath in the Ganges or the visiting the holy places, obviously will purify us or will get rid of so many sinful reactions what we have, but the desire for sense gratification still doesn't go away. Only when we in the association of the devotees and chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, then the desire for sense gratification will go away. So in the 12th sloka, it's mentioned here that so when one is in the process of bhakti, what happens? All the demigods and their exalted qualities will appear in that person. So they will be developed. But otherwise, even though if they are engaged in material activities nicely or mystic yoga, so anything, they will not get those kind of good qualities what we see in the devotees, because they are on their own mental speculation. And Prabhupada mentions that so because Krishna has all good qualities, and when one approaches Krishna through this process of bhakti yoga, so Krishna blesses them with all those good qualities. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport 26 types of good qualities which are mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. So all those things will come, appear or develop in the devotee as he has taken the shelter of Krishna. And 13th sloka, see that how aquatics are very strong in water body. Like you take crocodile, so as long as it is in the water, it is very powerful. But when it comes out, then it is not so powerful. So similarly, so jiva, the living conditioned soul, so the living soul, who is part and parcel of Krishna. So when we keep Krishna in the center, then we can experience that the spiritual power what we have it, Sachitananda. But when we are away from Krishna, then we forget our spiritual power, and then we suffer because of the material activities. So, and here we say that even someone may think that they are very powerful by their material calculations. They might be in higher position, or they are very wealthy. They have great name and fame, higher education, those kind of things. But they are like their compared greatness is like that of young low class couple. Like when young couple, when they are married, so even though they both are uneducated and they are not very powerful, but they praise one another because they are attracted their own temporary beauty. So this kind of appreciation only done by the low class people. So similarly, materialistic people who has some kind of materialistic power are appreciated by the low class people. But the devotees, when they progress in the path of Krishna consciousness, they can see the spiritual power. In the last sloka for today, so that's why here Prahlad Maharaj is stressing the conclusion that the so-called happiness of family life simply should be given up and take shelter of the Supreme Lord, Lord Narasimhadev. So in that way, so one would experience the fearlessness, Abhaya Charana Aravinda. So when we take shelter of the Krishna, so then we become fearless. And this entanglement of the family life is the root of the material attachments. And there are so many others also, like indefatigable desires, moroseness, anger, despair, fear. So all this will come, and it will also pushes us through the repetition of birth and death. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj is stressing that engage everything in the process of Krishna consciousness, so that they will get benefited, and we will also be become fearlessness and become calm and peaceful, and then we can escape this repetition of birth and death, which is miserable and suffering, and then we can go back home, back to Godhead, and experience the eternal and blissful life. So sorry I took little time. Thank you all for giving this opportunity. I'll pause it here. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Sri Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah, thank you so much, Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhu.